Hello and welcome back to Tire Talk. We've just watched the 2023 Miami Grand Prix. It was much better than Baku, but let's talk about the important things
I wouldn't
first.
say much better.
It was though. It was definitely much better. Surely. Anyway, how are you doing first, Mike? How are you doing, my friend?
Um, Doing better than last week. One exam down, one more to go.
Yes.
Hopefully, it went well. F1 races the last 2 weeks haven't been the most exciting,
No.
been quite boring. But I'm all right. I'm doing all right.
What about yourself, Dan?
Yeah, not too bad. Just got home. Gonna
Yeah.
relax at home for a bit before the exam, and yeah,
Yeah, he's back in the
F1's been alright.
homeland. So let's jump straight into it. It started in I think the drama really started in got going in qualifying. Um, Obviously Charles Leclerc. Actually, I think the most drama really started in Q2 with Lewis Hamilton. Did it not, boys? What are our thoughts on that?
Yeah,
Got knocked out in P13, didn't he?
Mm,
Is that the
yeah. Well, me and
first?
Joe
Is that the
managed.
first
Yeah,
time in like an American circuit for like years or something?
he's never started
what?
before that race outside the top six in America.
Yeah.
He's fuming, bless him. And then
Yeah,
we managed to miss the best qualifying of the whole year so far, didn't we, Joe?
yeah. Shout out to Sully. Cheers for that, mate. On the
Cheers, pal.
percussion for the local university band.
I miss
But
Q1 and 2Q though because
yeah,
Yeah,
I
but
was watching it and this the work group chat said someone's took the keys home and it was
oh,
me. I took the keys home, so I had to drive back to work and drop them off.
that is poor.
Otherwise, they couldn't have done something. So I was like, I'll go now. But
Yeah,
I seen
fair enough.
Q3, which
Yeah,
more than us.
the 5 minutes was Q3 that lasted.
yeah. Do you want to tell us how it went?
So basically, Max didn't do a lap in his first like lap. So he was sitting P9. Then Leclerc was on his final go, looking well, looking fast, and like the wavy bit of the track, like the fastest part of the track, and lost it. Red flag, and like the grid was amazing. Like that
Mm,
starting grid for the race was like you're thinking this is gonna be a good race. We're in for a good race here. Kevin Magnussen, what
mm.
was P4, I think.
Yeah, P4.
So you like
Gasly up in
Yep.
P5 as well.
yeah,
Good results from Gasly.
you're just thinking, yes, good race here, but obviously
Mm.
it wasn't.
I believe it was also Valtteri Bottas's first time in top 10 in qualifying, first time in Q3. He was also a victim of the Charles Leclerc crash. I don't think he didn't set a time either. But obviously Max's previous time was
Yep.
faster than him, so he started P10. It's been a tough
It was
start for
it
Valtteri
was.
Bottas Alpha.
I think it's Alfa Romeo though, isn't it? It's just not very good. They've seemed to have
Mm,
fallen back. Obviously, they were the only car under the weight limit, weren't they, at the start of last season, and that really helped them.
mm,
But now everyone else has shedded the extra weight, and they're just not very good, are they? You've got the Alpha Tauri and you'd say the Williams and the McLaren as well as their back
mm.
four at the
Yeah,
minute.
Hey, what they have improved since the first four races, though. The first four races, I'm sure you just bottom.
Yeah, they had a new beam wing, I think, this week. They brought an upgrade this week, and I think they've got another one
yeah,
coming in Imola.
right. I mean, we may as well talk about the McLaren whilst we're at it. It was another pretty disastrous week. Well, yeah, whole weekend for McLaren.
Terrible.
Lando Norris actually said that he wasn't surprised with their double Q1 exit, which was the first time there's been a double Q1 exit from McLaren since 2018. So
They got a bit
it's not
unlucky in
looking
the
good.
race, though. I know
Yeah,
they were off in the race, but the Fleece
Oscar had a
did
problem, didn't he?
the Fleece did just drive into the back of Norris. He did
mm,
just drive in the back of him. Then
yeah,
was it Oscar had a long brake
Oscar had
pedal?
yeah, I think
yeah,
he said he got it around lap 7, so he was driving the whole race basically with a problem, and
yeah.
it was ropes for them.
It seems as though that when the McLarens are actually fully functioning, like when they're not having brake issues, which I know is part of that is just part of the car, they actually seem to have all right pace. Like they had decent pace in Baku, but it just disappeared. I mean, the damage to Norris, they think, caused about 0.2, 0.3 seconds of damage to each lap they did onwards in the race. So just not being helped, really, are they?
No. And it doesn't help that they've got a baseline of a car which is pretty awful. I mean, it's not going to be troubling like the Alpine, is it? Even, which is crazy to say when last season they were fighting the Alpine, but they just look a million miles away off any sort of decent result at the minute, don't they?
Bad times if you're a McLaren fan, isn't it? Really.
Really sad times.
I think
Yeah.
if McLaren don't pick the game up, they can see Norris. Norris will leave by the end.
He must be losing patience, Lando.
Yeah, because he knows that he knows that he has potential to be, and loads of people know it.
He's watched George, hasn't he? And him and George are the same age, aren't they? He's watched George move to Mercedes, and he's kicking on now, isn't he, George Russell? And Lando's stuck at McLaren, and they're not making any progress, going backwards, aren't they? Really?
Yeah, definitely. Where do you think he'll go?
It's hard, isn't it? I think there's going to be an open seat at Mercedes eventually when Lewis goes. You might fancy that. You might fancy Audi if they pull something out in a few years.
Or he might join his old teammate at Ferrari when Leclerc goes to Mercedes.
Aston could be a shout as well when Fernando decides to pack it in at 50 years old.
Yeah, thing is, it's actually crazy to me because Lance Stroll is clearly like if you've got Fernando Alonso on the podium and then Lance Stroll languishing further down the table, you just got to think just imagine if it was Norris instead of Stroll. Like there's so much potential there.
Hear me out. As much as I don't like him, I'm going to defend Lance Stroll moderately here because that track was so hard to overtake at. Leclerc got stuck behind Magnussen for 30 laps, and Stroll's just in a DRS chain, wasn't he? In a different strategy. He was on the hards, everyone else on the mediums. He had to wait for everyone else to pit before he could go, and he was stuck in the train. And it was just a long day for him. He was crap in qualifying, but it's a long day for him in the race.
Yeah, I think as well. Another thing that happened before the race was quite possibly the most American thing I've ever seen.
Well, before that though.
Okay.
The grid walk. Did you see?
I didn't see the grid walk.
Did you not see it? Have you not seen it?
I watched a grid walk. I watched a grid walk.
Yeah, go on, talk us through it.
Sir Jackie Stewart, Martin Brundle tried to get an interview with Roger Federer, but there was a barrier in the way and security guards, and he was shouting him. But Sir Jackie was like, "Joe, what? Got an interview with him." But the security did put their hands on him, but it's quite sad he's not allowed past barriers and security guards. Probably don't even know who he is, or putting their hands on them, so we can get an interview with a tennis player.
Yeah,
but he ended up getting George Russell came over and
saved the day.
But Roger Federer ended up getting an interview of Martin Brundle. So, but that was probably the highlight of the entire race, to be honest.
Maybe. But then just after that, was it just after that or just before?
Just after
intros. Just after that, the driver intros with with famous rapper LL Cool J.
Do you know what? He actually smashed it. He actually done very good. He did.
I think he did his job.
It was cringy.
He called Yuki short. He called Yuki short. What else did he do?
He called Guan Yu Zhou one of the most exciting drivers on the grid. Logan Sargent, the local boy, done good, whatever that means.
Yeah.
No, but he did well. You can't fault. He did do well, but the whole thing was cringy. Didn't Perez miss it?
No, Perez was there.
No, Perez was there. Perez was there. I feel like he just didn't acknowledge the guy.
Well, I'm sure. I think you have to.
No, they were all there.
He said he missed the driver, or he was late to it.
Yeah, he was late. He was late, but he didn't miss it.
It was shocking. It was
and
then
Max looked like he didn't want to be there, didn't he? Come out
You can't blame him. I mean, Russell said that it was probably not for him. Verstappen agreed, saying, "I just hope we don't have to do them every single time because it's a very long season." But Lewis defended it, saying
Of course he did.
They're trying to improve the show always. I'm in full support of it.
I think it's like certain sports you can't do that. Like football, you won't be able to do that. know what I mean? Like tennis, you can't do that. I think F1 is one of them sports where like just leave it alone.
Yeah.
Like I get like you're meant to be entertaining, but like something in America, in Las Vegas, it'd probably be even worse. Can't lie.
God, they did one in Kota once where they brought
I've
them out in
seen this.
teams. Well, they brought
Yeah.
them out in teams, and then like the big drivers, it was the two Red Bulls, Max and Danny Rick at the time, Kimi and Seb, and Lewis and Valtteri Bottas. They brought them out separately.
Can we speak about the Formula One song?
Oh my God. I can't believe I sent it to group chat when I first saw it. My God,
That
it's
Formula
awful, isn't
One
it?
song, it's just repeating the same words. Little Wayne saved the song, in my opinion.
He did. His verse was all right.
Yeah. But
Well,
the song's not for me. It's not for me.
no.
Well,
I
should we
mean,
get on to actual race now?
yeah,
Because,
let's get into the race. Let's jump straight into the big story of the race. Max Verstappen. He's pretty much putting one hand on the trophy now, really, isn't he? Started in 9th. Someone told me for it.
It's Red Bull, isn't it? And it's Max.
yeah. Started on the hards. Yeah, started on the hards. I think he had the preferred strategy in the end, didn't he? Because he didn't have to start the front, and he had the luxury of starting on the better tire on the hards.
Yeah, my hards were much stronger, but I think the way, I mean, even after he transitioned to the mediums, he was just so much faster than Perez.
The DRS is crazy on that
Like
car.
it's
Like
just
when it works like double DRS. Like when he was behind Sainz, he was getting DRS off Alonso, and he just shot past him anyway. I don't know what they've done, but it's just mental.
well,
And then after
Alonso's
the race, when he pointed to number one on his car, I think
yeah,
I was sort of
that,
digging at Perez.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm the fucking number one in this team.
Alonso predicted that Verstappen would overtake him in lap 25, and was it like 14, 15?
14, he took him. Yeah. Be a bit generous, Fernando. Well, Fernando had a lonely race, didn't he? Bless him. He was watching Stroll on the screen. He was that bored.
That was amazing. That.
I mean, it's so weird. He's had some of the most like famous drivers in history on his team, like Lewis Hamilton. I say some of the most famous drivers in history: Lewis Hamilton, Felipe Massa, Kimi Raikkonen, to name a few. But he seems to be taking on the mentor role for Lance Stroll, saying, oh, "What was it? What did he say? Saying nice overtake into turn one. What places he in or something?" And he was just so bored, just gliding around in the third at the time.
I see that in two ways, though. He doesn't see Lance as a threat, obviously, otherwise he wouldn't be doing that. And also, he needs to stay in his dad's good books to be on the team. So
yeah,
I feel like
I don't think about that. So.
It's all nice. It's all well and good saying, "Look at Fernando, look how good he is." But if Stroll's an actual threat, he wouldn't be doing that.
Yeah, definitely.
Hey, that's 4 podiums out of 5, though.
Yeah, he's pushing it.
Doesn't he want to win in Monaco?
He says he thinks he fancies chances in not Imola but Monaco and Spain. So they might have an upgrade up their hands. I don't know, up the sleeve.
But other than that, the race was boring. There was no red flags, no yellow flags, no safety cars. The only thing that happened was Sainz got a 5-second penalty for speeding.
Every driver finished, which is rare, isn't it?
It was
every driver
that was
it.
Just a 5-second penalty. It was.
I'm going to disagree. Actually, I think that it wasn't an amazing race, but there were a steady stream of overtakes that happened throughout. Generally at turns 11 and 17, but I think compared to, I think there were 55 overtakes in the race, which is actually the most this season. And in Baku there were 13. So I think it was definitely a lot better. Everton have just scored, by the way, to make it 2-0. That's what the disgruntlement is about. Yeah, I think it was better. It was better than last week, and I was sat there. I was on my phone. Come on, Joe.
Do your overtake for the week. Come on.
Yeah, let's just jump straight into overtake of the week. So I've got 3 choices. I actually think there were some decent overtakes. I'm gonna,
I know what I'm picking.
I know what I'm
picking. In order of the race. Actually, I want to do in reverse order. Because I think I know which one you're going to pick. We had at lap 55, turn 11. We had Hamilton go through a really tight gap on the inside of Charles Leclerc to take. Well, I think at the time it was maybe 6th or 5th.
Yeah, P6. P6, I think.
And then which was a good overtake, very small gap, took it. Then number two, we've got lap 40, turn 17, Hamilton again. He did a switchback on Guan Yu Zhou, which I thought was quite good. It was just sort of the third best one. And then I think this is the one you're both going to go for, unless I'm being stupid here. Lap 4, turn 1, Max Verstappen on both Charles Leclerc and Kevin Magnussen in the same corner. But it doesn't seem like I've got the right overtake there. Am I missing one?
No, that's what I was going for. The Verstappen.
That's what you're going for?
Two overtake. No. Go on,
Okay.
I think Dan's going for the Charles Leclerc Hamilton one, I think.
Yep, Hamilton on Charles. That's my pick.
Oh, okay.
The Max one, as good as it was, because it was very far back and the gap, it was just wide enough to fit a Mercedes through. And Max just, as much as I like him, he did just press the DRS button and go past them both. It was a good overtake, but
yeah. Okay. Matty, do you want to give me your arguments for Max's overtake on Leclerc and Mike?
I agree with Dan, to be honest. I'm still picking it. It's unfair because it's Verstappen to Red Bull car, so it's going to be easy. But it just looked nice, didn't it? Overtaking two cars. They were fighting for a good.
He did well. He did well because he judged the braking right, didn't he, to get the better exit on both of them. But I still think
they're both fighting with each other, and Verstappen just had a great view of it and just thought, "Yeah, Joe, what? See you later, mate."
Yeah. Okay, so technically you're voting for
Verstappen
on Leclerc and Magnussen, and Dan, technically you're voting for Hamilton on Leclerc.
Hamilton.
So you're the deciding vote, Joe.
Again.
I'll go with I'm going to go with Verstappen on Leclerc and Magnussen, purely because I think Leclerc had a pretty drab race overall, whereas it was a statement move on Verstappen. Sometimes we see drivers chase, in a better car, chasing down the lead from a lower grid spot, and they struggle to get past people, such as actually Max. Last year at Hungary, just really struggling to get past Mick Schumacher, I think it was. Whereas this time around, he got two people fighting each other, which could have really slowed him down in one move. Statement move. I'm going to give it to Max Verstappen, I think, this week, even though both of you kind of half vote for Hamilton on Leclerc. But
can I say one thing, please, about this race?
Yeah.
The TV directors are awful.
Oh, here we go again.
I've heard rumours that they change every weekend, I think. They don't keep the same one every weekend. But it was the first lap.
They think that, yeah.
It was the first lap, going to the fastest sector off the whole track. They switched to a helicopter track and you could see nothing.
I think I saw a stat that was of the 55 overtakes that only 26 were broadcast on TV or something.
Yeah, I think he was one with Hamilton.
They missed Hamilton's entire They missed Hamilton's entire charge.
And he went to George Russell in the pits.
I was going to say, you'd think if they changed the race directors every week, that the TV directors, that there'd be good once in a while, but it's every week.
I've heard a rumour that they do change every week, I think.
Well, how's it so bad every single time? Who are they hiring for this job? They miss, because they always catch it or they'll be barreling down into a corner and there'll be a chance for an overtake and they'll just cut to the crowd. Why?
The worst one was in Monaco.
For what?
I think it was 2 years ago or last year. Where
the Stroll one. Got Lance strolled.
That was the worst.
Yeah, the only moment of jeopardy in the whole race, they cut a Stroll brushing the barrier.
That was the worst one. But team directors this season have been absolutely dreadful.
They always are. They were crap last year as well.
I like the shot where the car, the camera's moving, the car's moving at the same time. I like that.
No, they don't hate the one they did in Baku, where they were coming up through the castle section and then it cuts and he's looking through the wall and then you can't see the car and he cuts to it and then he moves the camera to another hole in the wall and you've missed the entire castle section.
It's
so annoying.
I'll quickly defend the TV directors because it is a hard job. You've got 20 cars going around, and I know they sometimes make a bit of a meal of it, but there's so many cameras to choose from. I don't know. It's complicated.
You have the driver tracking. You have the timing screens. You know who's close to who. You should be able to, and you know where they're on the track. Stop cutting to the crowd. No one wants to see the crowd.
But
Stop wasting camera shots
there's no
on the crowd.
consistency. It's every week. It's
Mm.
terrible.
It's consistently crap. It's consistent.
Yeah.
It is consistent. It's awful.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have a bold statement to make here. Okay.
All right, go on.
Hear me out. Let me finish before I hear what you think. Racing aside, forget about the race. But Miami is the biggest race of the season
Ooh.
because the
Ooh.
amount of eyes it brings to the sport. Because, right, hear me out. The biggest athletes in the world are there. You got Patrick Mahomes with there, yeah, biggest star in NFL. Roger Federer, arguably the best male tennis player. The Williams sisters, arguably the best female tennis players. Yeah. You got Tom Cruise, a great actor. Then you've got the biggest social media like pages in America doing interviews with drivers. You had the broadcast boys doing an interview with the Red Bull drivers. You had Barstool doing interviews with the Red Bull drivers. You had like loads of celebrities, like
Elon Musk was there, wasn't he, in the Red Bull garage?
yes, yeah, Elon Musk, Jeff
Yeah,
Bezos was there.
the average person who can afford a Miami GP ticket.
There's two richest men in the world. Two richest men in the world were at qualifying. Loads of celebrities there posting it. Even Jake Paul got interviewed by Sky Sports. I'm just saying, and like, but the amount of eyes the Miami Grand Prix brings on the sport, it's the biggest race of the season. I'm done.
I would argue it's not a bit
disagree.
counterintuitive, though.
What?
Yeah, because everything you just said is nothing to do with F1, if you know what I mean.
No, but
Like, that's all to do with extra publicity.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's why I said racing aside. It's the
But
biggest.
even then, I'm still not convinced because I think I saw a stat that was that there were around 250,000 race day attendees, I believe, which is a lot of people. Don't get me wrong, but it pales in comparison to your other events in America, the Mexican Grand Prix, and other events. And I'm not convinced. I actually think there's a lot of actively bad publicity about Miami Grand Prix.
I was going to say that. I think it actively, like, it's bringing the wrong type of fan. The people who see it as in like a novelty and a one-off thing, and that's what the Miami Grand Prix is. Like, you don't see fucking Will.i.am rocking up to the Hungarian Grand Prix, do you? He's only there in Miami. You don't want.
Yeah, and I think
that.
The viewer experience for people actually going to the race is probably quite bad as well. And in terms of the whole thing, obviously watching the Grand Prix is an experience in itself, but there are a number of issues with it. I suppose last year and this year.
I think the whole event like mid though, because I think the whole event's a bit crap because like there's no support races, is there?
Yeah,
like, the F2 goes there.
There's a Porsche.
Oh, yeah, the supercars go, but you don't get.
But
like,
I think you also have to pay extra for that. I'm pretty sure. I don't think that's on the normal the general admission ticket. The general admission ticket, you literally just get the main race.
So when have you been Silverstone before? Yeah.
Yeah.
How much is a cap?
What do you mean?
How much is a cap at the store?
They are expensive. They're like 40 quid, I think.
Because in Miami, they're $90, $100.
They're not that expensive.
Yeah, I'm watching TikTok on it before.
Yeah, that's bad. But like, so you don't get any support races, but you have to pay for it.
Because obviously last year they rectified the surface being an issue this year, but there were complaints about a lack of shade for people watching, extortionate ticket prices, and the lack of what you get for them. Like we said, the price of water being too much, which might not have been too much of an issue this year purely because the weather wasn't that hot, but last year it was boiling hot.
They don't have refills there because at Silverstone you can refill it for free. Like you have to buy it. You can bring a water bottle. You can refill it for free.
I'll tell you what.
I'm not sure.
Good thing about it. Joe, when like they're in the cool down room, I like they had,
the cool down room was good.
They had the jerseys.
And if like Joe won, do you really think that had a Joe #1 fucking jersey prepared?
I know that. I
like obviously
just printed it on the spot.
Yeah, maybe.
But it doesn't take that long. It takes like 20 seconds to like.
Yeah, I suppose. And they have the whole farce of getting to the actual podium, don't they?
Yeah, like in them, like because the other side of the stadium, innit? But I like
Yeah.
I like when all like the teams are based inside the stadium. I like that.
I don't see the point.
Again, I just think it's
Because
another. I think it's just another novelty
But
for no reason. Like,
going
just
back
let
to
them on another
our
paddock.
going back to our tier list for our tracks, I would move Miami down a tier.
Yeah, I'm moving
Thank
Miami
you.
down purely because of the
Thank
driver
you.
introductions. The driver instructions
Thank
make it a
you.
must
No,
get
but we
rid.
gave it a second episode.
Yeah, and
I
it got
called it.
worse
That's
this
what I'm
year. It
saying.
got
Yeah.
worse this year.
Can I hear a nice loud apology, please?
Sorry, Dan. Sorry, Joe.
Thank you. Thank you.
Right, Joe.
I think I
Last
Grand
called
part.
Prix
that one
crap.
pretty spot on.
Last part of the episode. Then come
Yeah.
on.
Let's get our
predictions.
predictions for Imola. We're gonna go top. Let's go top 5. All right. Who's going first? Matt, you go first.
Max to win. Perez second. Alonso third. Russell and Leclerc.
Okay. Dan, what are you saying?
Max to win. Alonso second.
Oh, okay.
Russell third. Lewis fourth. And Sainz fifth.
What's
DNF
happened
for
to
Perez?
Checo going to be in a crash then?
I think Perez is going to DNF because he's an actual track now, not a street track. Still going the gravel.
Okay.
Mercedes they're hyping that massive upgrade, aren't they? That's coming to Miller, so I'm going to bank on that working, and they're going to put 3 and 4 in.
That's a bold prediction, that Dan.
That is. I'm going to go with.
Well, I'm not here to be boring.
First. Yeah, fair enough. I'm going to go pretty not bold, I think. Max first, Checo second. Who would have thought? I'm actually going to go. I'm going to go for it again. I'm going to go Leclerc third again. Because I think his pace over one lap is good. And I'm going to go Alonso 4, and then I'll go Russell 5th. Because, like you're saying, you've got that Mercedes speed. But that's my predictions. That's our predictions. Anyone want to make any last minute changes?
Esteban Ocon to come in the podium position.
Okay, let's move on quickly from that statement. So yeah, everyone, thank you for watching or listening. Check out all of our social medias. We're starting to upload more on the website, so if you can feel free to check that out and sign in so you can get rare newsletters when we post on there. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. Thank you.